in all of this discussion, do teams actually move up?
The answer to that is yes, and that's you asked, is this fun? Do you like it? I do, and the reason is because teams move around, and we'll get more into the odds in a little bit here. But the two examples, there's been basically three major moves over 2 years that have significantly impacted organizations. So the first one was ahead of the 2023 draft, and that was the Twins. They had the 13th best odds. They finished with the 13th best record, or 13th worst record, excuse me, and they jumped up to 5th overall, and that allowed them to draft Walker Jenkins in a historically strong draft class. They wouldn't have had a shot at Walker Jenkins otherwise. So that was a big deal. And then last year, the Guardians jumped all the way up to 1st overall, despite just having a 2% shot to do that. The Reds also jumped up a bunch in last year's draft. And like, to use the Guardians as an example, not only did it allow them to select Travis Bazzana at number 1 overall, they were so flush with cash in their bonus pool, they were just able to take prep pitching prospect after prep pitching prospect, and they ended up with, like, I don't know, this is just like a proxy guess or a number, but like between 6 and 8 of the top 150 to 200 guys on the consensus board in their first 10 rounds. It was just an absolutely loaded class. So yes, it does happen, and the chances are it'll happen again.
So now that you've explained that part, how does this actually work?
Yeah. So the actual like workings of it are probably boring unless you're super nerdy about it. But basically, here's the high level stuff that I think is useful. Any team that didn't make the postseason is eligible for the lottery, with the odds decreasing for teams with superior win-loss records. Right. So teams like the Twins and the Red Sox and the Cubs, who are closer to making the playoffs, have less of a chance than teams like the Rockies, who are atrocious. The actual lottery is held in advance of the broadcast. So it actually happens earlier in the day, and they have like an independent auditor do it. And basically, every team who is eligible has a series of ping pong ball number combinations that get spat out of a machine, and they will award picks 1 through 6 in order, depending on these number codes that come out of this machine. Then pick 7 through 18 are just lined up in accordance with what the pre-lottery odds were for non-playoff teams. And then, playoff teams aren't eligible, but it's worth mentioning that they're ordered based on when they exited the playoffs, not based on their regular season record. So,
Okay. So that all seems very cut and dry.